Welcome to another trailer to film, everyone, and this is where I take 3 scenes from a trailer and talk about its impact and if it holds up, conveying the same excitement within the film as it did the trailer. And here we are going to be talking about Outlaw King. Outlaw King is a movie on Netflix and in some select theaters. Where they are, I don't know, don't ask me, but you can definitely go take a look. I had only heard of this since last week, and I had no idea it was released today on November 9th, but here it is, and I decided to watch it. So basically the plot revolves around Robert the Brus, or Robert Brus, surrendering to Edward I of England. Robert is then assigned to collect taxes and wed Elizabeth de Burgh. Or Burgh. Elizabeth de Burgh? Uh-oh. In that time, Robert hears of William Wallace's brutal execution, and this inspires him to try and rebel once more to regain Scotland. But with that said, let's get into reviewing this from trailer to film. Let's get into this. Now, if you're a history major and you're watching this, I understand I probably botched that set of events to high heaven. I do apologize, considering this movie itself does take some creative liberties within this set of events. But from what I understand, it does follow accurately enough, just based off of what little research I did. But I will not be critiquing the film on its historical accuracy so much as just as a film itself. And that's kind of where I have to come to. The film is fine. To be honest, I think it plays realism very considerably and carefully. Not much of this film screams special effects extravaganza and keeps things practical. It tells its story effectively in ways where the actors that are playing these historical figures are quite straightforward, minimally adding their own charm in. You have Chris Pine, Aaron Taylor Johnson, hell, even Tony Curran in this film, and they are very personified by the historical roles they are playing. The realism in this film ranges from drab, often detail-filled atmospheric set pieces and landscapes conveying the tough times and cruel conditions our characters face, to depictions of violence that is not shied away from, but sometimes depicted without the grotesque, in-your-face, look at this gory depiction of battle. But it does sacrifice the life in these actors because the times they were going through were very rough and desperate, so it conveys it well. But for you as a viewer, you might get a little bored in between scenes as things are developing. And let's get into those scenes that stood out to me. First off, we have the beginning shot from the trailer with a somber piano piece conveying the tone of the film.
Thinking about revenge?
And let me tell you something. That could not have been a better depiction to convey the tone. Things are sad, sometimes at a standstill while the pieces are moving to their respective areas. You understand there is going to be a great deal of pain. Chris Pine as Robert the Brus, I think should be just called Robert Brus, but I don't understand why they call him the Brus. Anyway, Chris Pine, he isn't in this. I think Robert Brus just took the place. I think his soul just went into Chris Pine and went, okay, we got this. But the character behind him is called James Douglas. Ha! Go figure.
It tears at the soul.
And he's looking to gain his homeland back, but could not get the proper backing, even when he goes to King Edward himself. He talks to Robert about revenge and how it can tear at the soul, but it also can be used as a weapon. It's a good motivational speech, enough for Robert to say something after that scene is done, and which I'm glad they didn't put in the trailer. But it's at this moment of this I could say that this is where the gloves come off for Robert, and it's pretty damn cool. The next scene is within the beginning of the same scene, but it's spliced between James' advice and showing what tragedy Robert is holding on to, where his wife is being interrogated by Edward, Prince of Wales.
Where's Robert? Where's your husband?
So let's talk about Edward for a sec. You see characters like this once in a while in movies. Highly motivated by daddy's wishes while wholeheartedly believing what he's doing is worth the time and it's justified. Edward here is depicted as an emotionally motivated, whilst unstable and probably insecure human being, but dear God, is he brutal.
Where's your brother?
No! And it's in this scene he shows all those traits, and it was very unsettling for me, and it might be for you. And last but not least, the third scene that reached out to me is Robert's speech
You could fight for God,
for one glorious battle.
for family.
And this is what he says to motivate them to fight.
I do not care, so long as you fight.
Win or lose, that was his That was his speech. And it was a cool speech. Short and to the point, what follows is a pretty decent, brutal battle that made charm production value onlookers to see this accomplishment of depicted brutality, which I enjoyed to an extent. But with all that said, I like this movie well enough. It may not grab everyone, as it does have some sluggish pacing issues, but it makes up for it about 45 minutes in, keeping our characters moving. But this movie does succeed in being realistic as possible, keeping the nature of the land and history in check well enough. It does sacrifice some charm and some followable moments into some mistaken bland characters that could do for a little bit more flair. But that's how I think other people would take it if they could care less about the history and want something interesting to watch. That's just where I'm taking this. But in the end, guys, I probably wouldn't watch this movie again, but there is a tracking shot in the beginning lasting almost 10 minutes. I thought that was really good to set things up pretty well, so that was a lot of fun to watch and just kind of pick apart. But I might go back and watch that just for academic purposes. But I think some will like this for what it is and not what they want it to be. For that, I will give Outlaw King like it, but I probably wouldn't own this if even it came out on DVD. If you were interested to see this, I would love to hear from you what you thought. Let me know in the comments down below. And again, this movie is in select theaters and premiered on Netflix, so give this a shot if you can. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, I do TV show reviews and movie reviews, and ones that come together and make a universe, which I desperately need to get back into. And I just love to interact with you guys. So what is your favorite film that has come out on Netflix so far? I would love to know what you think on that as well. Like, share, subscribe, and I'm going to get you more reviews in the future. You all have a fantastic and wonderful day.